Unfortunately, Tucson 3 engines have a number of characteristic faults. In the case of naturally aspirated petrol 1.6, you have to reckon with increased oil consumption. A good engine flush can help with ring sticking in many cases. But sometimes the block head is to blame. First, you can try a good product that is added to the oil before changing it. If several procedures do not help, then you will have to think about serious repairs. For the 1.7 CRDi turbo diesel, the problem is the oil change interval. It is recommended every 30,000 kilometers, which is deadly for the engine. A thick substance accumulates under the valve cover. Then serious malfunctions occur, after which the motor can no longer be repaired. Therefore, before purchasing, it is recommended to check the vehicle's service history and, if possible, remove the oil pan and engine valve cover. On the other hand, we can praise the 2-liter turbo diesel. EGR valve failure, damage to the plastic teeth in the control system or cracking of the housing, is not a serious problem. In the case of the latest generation 1.6 CRDi turbo diesel, which appeared under the hood of the model in 2018, there is no need to talk about characteristic weaknesses yet. Unless we are talking about a hybrid version, the plug-in hybrid version with a 48-volt installation. It has a manufacturing defect, a jammed belt tensioner, which can lead to serious damage to the engine, timing belt and crankshaft. Therefore, if extraneous noise appears, it is better to contact a specialized service. A manual transmission's clutch disc is often the cause of a whining noise. Replacing the kit fixes the problem. Difficulty engaging third and fourth gears in a manual transmission indicates wear on the synchronizers. Initially they were made of normal metal, but then replaced with brass. Some repairmen recommend updating the synchronizer rings along with the fork at the same time, which increases the cost of repairs. Much attention should be paid to the dual-clutch gearbox. The 6-speed unit used in earlier models performs better. The 7-speed has problems with the clutch. Later the control program and the clutch itself were updated. The degree of clutch wear can be checked using a diagnostic computer. Ignoring jerking may result in the dual-mass flywheel seizing. Another malfunction of the double-clutch gearbox is the jamming of the needle bearings on the 6th gear. The symptom is the absence of one pair of gears, even or odd, and reverse gear. I have good news for you. Now, if you are planning to buy a used car, or learn more about your car, you no longer need to search for the information you need on the internet. We have collected everything in one place for you, on the website carme.pro. Here you can find out everything about the car, what breaks and at what mileage, any problems with engines, chassis or gearboxes, which trim levels are better not to mess with and how not to lose money buying a used car. You will learn all this on carme.pro. The classic machine does not cause any trouble. In the case of all-wheel drive vehicles, you have to take into account the wear of the spline joint in the front differential mechanism. Regardless of the transmission option, the rear axle uses a 4-link design. In the suspension, the silent blocks of the rear shock absorbers sometimes fail. The bushings themselves can be replaced separately. There were also problems with the front brake discs and camber adjustment. In cars with naturally aspirated petrol 1.6 it is necessary to monitor the vacuum pump. The first bell is a parking brake error. As part of the service, the hood latch was repaired, which could open independently while driving. It was necessary to replace the lock with a modified one and update the software for monitoring the warning about an open hood. An even larger scale action affected the HECU control module, the unit responsible for the operation of the ABS system. Due to moisture getting inside the unit, a short circuit and fire could occur in the engine compartment, even in a parked car. The recall affected a number of vehicles assembled between May 2015 and November 2020. Another problem was the third brake light, which was dimming or fogging up. The LEDs inside the flashlight burned out. Official service centers usually replaced the brake light under warranty without any problems. On some vehicles, the brake light was updated several times. Despite the relatively large number of potential problems, there are many copies that have already covered 300 to 400,000 kilometers without serious breakdowns. Caution should be exercised with vehicles imported from the United States. Unfortunately, their condition is often far from ideal. Therefore, they usually occupy places at the bottom of the price list, along with damaged cars. The Hyundai Tucson 3 is a good car, although it sometimes breaks down, and in some cases repairs are quite expensive. A good choice would be a combination of a 2-liter diesel engine, an automatic transmission, and all-wheel drive with a range of up to 150,000 kilometers.